have to talk about it because it's really a kick in the teeth for anybody here who's got a lot of Rob
John.
Williams. For anyone who's got a lot of Rob Williams stock, and that's me. Rob has been diagnosed with knee tendinopathy, which is basically patellar tendonitis, which is known as jumper's knee. We're not going to play doctor here. We're just going to say this freaking stinks. And, you know, I'm not going to play I told you so with he didn't look right, but he hasn't looked right. And he doesn't look like he's been jumping. And one of the reasons he's not jumping, he has jumper's knee. And so here we freaking go with this guy, man. And I don't even know what to do. I'm so depressed about it. You guys?
I thought it was fatigue. I didn't know this thing is like medical now, you know? That's what worries me, but it's still early, John, but I hear what you're saying. All right, put it that way.
Josue, I'm not pulling it's early card on this one because this is an issue, and you know this, Josue. We've been talking about Rob Williams and potential and trying to work through injuries forever and a day, and so this is par for the course with that guy. I love his game. I love when he's healthy, but that's the problem. I can't get his ass healthy enough for any extended period of time.
Is this bad luck, though? Is this bad luck, or is this you didn't take care of yourself when you were supposed to? And I'm not just trying to be that guy, but I'm just asking straight up.
I don't think it's that. I think this is just he's going to be someone who it's a roll of the dice whether he's going to be healthy or not.
Yeah. So I think it's a kind of a chicken or the egg thing. I think he's not in great shape. He looked to me not like a person who put on muscle through a training program in the offseason. He just looked bigger. He looked puffier. He didn't look chiseled or jacked or rounded shoulders or cut up arms. He looked thicker to me. It looked to me like a guy who didn't work out much this offseason. Now, what you don't know is, one, we don't know that's for sure. He might just have one of those like Paul Pierce style bodies that doesn't really get cut up, and that's just how he is, and that's how he's going to look. Fine. You can give a bunch of benefit of the doubt sort of things. But what we don't know is, is he not able to go hard, to go through a rigorous offseason, to change his body type, to get into good physical condition, because he has these chronic issues and this blood flow thing and all of this stuff that he's constantly dealing with, keeping him from really being able to work and so he's always got to manage what he does physically speaking? Or is he in bad shape, which is why he keeps getting hurt, because he has muscle weakness everywhere, and an explosive athlete like Rob, who's bounding all over the place and flying through the sky, has weakness and all around, you know, his muscles, causing tendonitis in his joints and his knees and things like that. I have no idea what it is, but I think this is the last thing in the world you wanted on the eve of the start of the season, on a guy you just put your faith in and gave the money to. And again, I don't know if he shows up and he plays the opener and he plays 20 straight games, and fine, everyone can say, John, you freaked out and overreacted for nothing. I'm just not seeing it going that way. And I am, you know, I'm on as optimistic as I am about Rob in general, I'm mashing the panic button right now. I am mashing the panic button.
I'm not mashing the panic button. I'm concerned about this because it is a chronic issue with him. And the thing, and John, you kind of alluded to this.
And Udoka's playing it cool. Udoka apparently is saying he'll be all right. We'll see. I just don't
trust that before.
I don't trust the Celtics with medical stuff, so that's my thing, and especially on Rob.
He's new to the team, so he doesn't.
Yeah, right. That's what they told you. It doesn't really mean that's the case. But go ahead, Sherrod. Go ahead.
No, to your point earlier, we don't know the trickle down effect of the blood flow issue and some of the other injuries he's had on his ability to get in shape. And my concern right now is that you got a player who is only going to be able to give you peak 20, 25 minutes a game. And that blows. If that's like the ceiling for him, if that's the most you're going to get from him in terms of playing time. And as some of the folks in the chat have mentioned, I mean, you're thinking about Moses Brown and how he would have been nice to just be able to kind of throw out there just to see what he could do.
Yeah, that's funny you say that, because I was thinking that was the insurance policy on Rob, and they just let that policy go.
Yeah, for no reason. That was the classic. Al is older. Rob is injury prone. I was stunned at the Mo Brown thing, and everyone's like, "Dude, Mo Brown sucks." It doesn't matter. It's a it's a rotational bench big that made no money, that was controllable for years. And Sherrod even said it. Sherrod and I were both banging. You don't trade a guy like Mo Brown. You're thrilled to have Mo Browns on your team, because guys who can play, who make that little, and you have them locked up and controlled. But this comment here is interesting, because this is
so the first. What's about my voice, man? What's with this mic? Do I sound weird or what?
Yeah, just I have as much faith in your technical capabilities as I do Rob's health in these shows. Okay, it's about the same. It's about, but
man, I'm crystal clear this time though.
This comment is everything, because we talked about it when Rob said this to Bobby, and he said, or when we were talking about, when Rob said this in the offseason, my goal is to play 60 games. We were like, that's a shitty goal. Like, that's 3/4 of the season. Your goal is, your pie in the sky dream is to play 75% of games. And that was a major red alert for me.
Yep. He knows his body better than anybody. Yeah. And when he dropped that 60 game nugget, that should have been our clue that, you know what? He knows that his body is not going to withstand the rigors of a typical NBA season. That he's going to have to take some timeouts. He's going to miss some games. They're going to have to go load manage with him. I think it's pretty obvious.
But everyone's telling me I'm freaking out for no reason.
We knew this before the start of the season, though. I'm gonna try to use my when I was 12 voice, I guess, or 8 voice. But we knew this before the season even started, because we knew the track record that Rob has going into this. What, you thought that just a magic summer, or the fact that fresh off of what we saw last season, did you really think that he was going to come in and play 30 minutes? It doesn't work that way. Plus all the extra weight that he's put on, all the muscle he's put on.
Joe Sway's anonymous right now.
Yo, I don't know man. What about now?
I'm about
to throw away this whole
our demands are as follows. You will slip the money into the drawer.
$100 million in 20
the worst Batman. I mean, it wasn't the worst.
That's so good. Put on the mask. Go full anonymous here.
But no, in all seriousness, guy, we knew we're gonna have to ramp him up here. Yeah, I'm unplugging this whole thing.
Your mic is crackling too. Right now the Wi-Fi is the best thing you have going.
And that's the thing
which is sad.
Yeah. So good.
So all you guys with Rob Williams stock, are you guys ready to just completely cash it in, or are you going to ride this out a little bit?
You know me, Sherrod, by now. I
ready to cash that shit in.
I react instantly, okay, to things. And yes, I might. Do I overreact? Maybe from time to time. Am I right? Every once in a while.
Every once in a while you are.
Quite a bit.
We went from once in a while to quite a bit. Damn.
But this Rob thing, the first preseason game, I come in there, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to make it all about Rob. But
you have a choice.
I'm really worried about Rob. I didn't like what I saw at all. Joe Sway, you got to go. Bye. Fix it. He's sorry. Yeah, he's got to leave and come back. Anyway. I'm not taking victory laps over that, but I'm quick to make a judgment. I didn't like what I saw early, and then the diagnosis kind of confirms what the eye test is telling you, that he's got a little something. So we'll see. And some people are saying I'm never right. Okay, yeah, never right. Never, not about Kemba. We had a group apology cam at the end of last year, but sure. Bobby,
hey,
what did Ime say? He said everything's fine. Rob's going to be great, right?
Yeah, I mean, he said we'll keep an eye on him, so we'll see where this goes. But, I mean, it wasn't your death sentence.
It's not. It's a bad sign, to have this right now. Right?
No, it is. Yeah, because I mean, this is something that, like tendonitis or tendinopathy, whatever you want to call about it, that by definition is a lingering thing. And I actually asked that once, he gave the prognosis that he will be back. Whether that's going to be something they have to manage game by game. And he said he hasn't heard anything on that yet. So I think there's still some information to come on this. But it is good that they're at least aiming to have him back within a game.
We won't see him for 10 games.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't be stunned if that's what ends up happening.
I wouldn't be stunned. I'd be stunned if he played early in the first couple of games.
Yo, I don't need no stinking mic.
which
Yes,
is
he's right.
fine. I mean, I was saying this in the group chat. Rob's the ceiling raiser on this team, but in terms of surviving game in and game out, it's not devastating to be missing him a few games here or there. You want to play the long game with actually having him ready at the most important time of year, which is kind of what they did last year, I felt like, with the minute limitations, everything else there. And this team isn't as thin at
Yeah.
that center spot as last year's was, where it's devastating to be missing him.
But we're reaching the point. Like, the problem here is, like, it's not an overreaction to the injury. It is, we were basing everything on Rob on injuries being fluky, him not being injury prone, and you take the leap of faith and you give him the contract and you say that for this team to get to the next level, you're going to need Rob to continue his ascent, to be all-star caliber. And now we're recalibrating expectations and saying, if they get something out of him, we're fine. No, he's supposed to be a star on this team. And if he's not, you should not have paid him a freaking cent, and you should have just gone back to the.
John.
If this is what you have,
but you knew that was a gamble worth taking, though, John.
I thought it was a gamble worth taking only because at worst you get what you got last year, which is probably worth close to. So you're not going to lose.
What do you got?
Yeah, but you have more than a year to work with that, John. Right? This isn't. You're not. You're not doing.
It's surprising they didn't go with more of an incentive-based contract for sure.
Yeah,
My only thinking on that is if you go the incentive route with the things we've been talking about with setting up trades, is that doesn't count toward salary matching and that kind of thing if he doesn't hit those numbers. So I think they minimize that as much as possible. It only ended up being about like $6 million there.
But the thing with Rob is we were trying to decide whether or not we thought the injuries were a bit fluky, and if he gets himself right, has a full offseason, he goes in there and there's no reason why he can't play. But now you're starting to think it's chronic. He's got issues that are never going to go away, and you're starting out with this right out of the gate and completely throwing.
Yeah, that's the concern, right?
That's
like
the big concern. Is I think we can now feel fairly confident when we say this is how it's going to be with him. Last year we could ask questions. Is it fluky? Was there a few things going on? Or is he just a guy who's going to always be dealing with injuries because of X, Y, and Z? It's hard to think that's not going to be the case, which is really depressing because it's just more a reality check than anything. That's all.
It's
the question is whether he can play through this stuff, right?
I don't know.
Play through the turf toe.
And what if he plays it?
Things.
What if he plays and he's not the explosive role? What if the version of him you see is the guy we saw in the preseason? Who again, I don't know why people argued with me on like Twitter over this. Like, he looks fine. He clearly didn't look fine. He didn't jump the whole preseason. He never got off his feet up over the rim and did anything explosive. He was very measured and played really
Taking
slow.
a lot of jump shots. Yeah.
Jump shots. It was very passive and so unlike him. He didn't do anything to showcase his freakish athleticism, which is what separates him from everybody. Without that, what is he?
Not
what are they without him?
That's seriously, Sherrod, what is he without that? He's
not
okay.
very good.
Yeah,
they're not very good because he provides a dynamic to their roster that no one else can.
The gravity,
and you can't make up that athleticism. You can't make up that size. We saw Enes Kanter is a great offensive rebounder, can score around the rim, but defensively he's a turnstile. He's not stopping anyone.
Yeah,
and that we saw. I mean, I'm listening to Scal in the broadcast, and he's talking about. I'm trying to figure out where exactly is Enes supposed to be on this particular defensive rotation, because he seems to be the one
scary.
Yeah, you just don't know how he fits in and what you're trying to do defensively, and then you look at Al's in isolation now, and
the really scary thing about Kanter is that they can't run the system that they want to run here. It doesn't seem like they want to drop as much.
He's just a few minutes coming off the bench in spurts and see if you can get some offense, and he can work it on the glass.